Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at COVID screening questions and how to sign some of those questions that we're asking in our role as a screener for COVID in the various facilities that we are working. We're going to ask 3 questions today. 1, have you been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the last 14 days? 2, have you had any close contact with anybody who's been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the last 14 days? And 3, have you traveled outside of Canada in the last 14 days? We're going to do all that right after this. Welcome back. My name is Tammy and this is NurseMinder, and on this channel we do everything nursing. So if you're new here, consider subscribing below so that you get the next video when it's released. It has become quite evident that as screeners, healthcare workers, nurses, we need to do better to communicate and connect with our deaf population. Now, before we start into these signs that I'm going to share with you today, I do want you to know a few things. First, I am not an interpreter. I don't teach sign language for a living. I am sharing with you what I have learned from those in my community. But also, I use some resources online to help increase my knowledge in how to sign. And I will share them with you here because they're great resources. You can continue to learn with Dr. Vickers and ASL Meredith. Those are my 2 favorites right now, but there are many more resources that you can use. So I'll definitely put their links down below for you as well so you can connect with them on YouTube and continue to foster the learning that you're doing now. The next thing I want you to know is that the signs I'm going to be sharing may not be the signs that you would see in your community, and that is because there are different dialects within the deaf community and the deaf culture. And so what I have done is taken the stuff I know from my past, gotten into my books, watched a few videos, and then I've asked those people who've come into my facility where I've practiced my sign language, and they've helped me to refine some of the phrases that I'm going to share today. So let's get into it. So in those 3 questions that we're going to be asking, you will note that there is a common thread in every one of them, and it is have you and in the last 14 days. Those 3 questions have those words in every one of them. So we've already learned have you in a past video. So remember, the have is your hands bent down, brought to your chest. Have you, or you have. So what we're going to add here is in the last 14 days. Now in sign language, they do not sign every little word. Maybe in ESL they do, but not in American Sign Language. In fact, American Sign Language is quite abbreviated. So last, the word last, you're going to take your open hand, right hand over your shoulder, as if you're throwing salt over your shoulder, right? So the last. From the side, the last. The next one we want to learn is 14. Now we have had a video on numbers. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and click on that now if you'd like to, and then come back or watch it afterwards. But 14 is where you take your thumb in, and 14. So in the last 14 days is the next word. So for the word day, we're going to take our left hand and make a horizon so that our palm is facing downwards to the ground. Then we're going to take the elbow of our free hand, put it on top of the hand, fingers up or pointing, either one has been acceptable in my experience, and we're going to bring it down to our other elbow, and that would be day. Day. So from the side, day. Okay, so we put those together in the last 14 days. Have you? And then you can ask the rest of your question, or you can put you have, ask your question in the last 14 days. So in question number 1, have you been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the last 14 days? We're simply just going to add the sign for COVID-19 and positive, because we want to know if they've actually been diagnosed positive. So COVID itself is you're going to take your left hand in a fist, such that your thumb is pointing in towards your chest. And then you're going to take the palm of your right hand and join it. And then you're going to fan out those fingers to represent COVID. 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 And this represents the crown of the virus. And then we want to ask positive. Positive, and then negative would be a negative sign on the palm of your hand, positive. So we're simply then going to add that into our question. So have you been COVID positive in the last 14 days? Okay? So we get rid of some of the filler words. You can also say, so in the last 14 days, have you been COVID positive? So from the side, and don't forget you're making a question with your face. So yes, no answers typically have a raised eyebrows, and then your who, what, wheres typically have a lowered eyebrow. So trying to remember to get those eyebrows raised and demonstrate that. Let's go on to question 2. Question 2 is, have you had any close contact with somebody who has had COVID in the last 14 days? So we've already covered the have you and in the last 14 days. So let's add in those extra words. We know COVID, we've already established COVID positive. So now we need to learn close contact with anyone. So for the word close, what we're going to take is our bent hands again, and the left hand is representing the other and the right hand is representing me. So I'm going to take the right hand and move it closer to the left. Now the right can be either behind it or it can be in front of it, and you bring it towards, as long as that motion of towards the left is happening. So close or close. Close. Contact. We're going to take the middle fingers of both hands and touch them. Contact. Contact. So close contact. The word with is our A's. We're going to start with our A's, are both fists. Both hands in a fist making the letter A, and you bring them together. With. 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 So building on that, close contact with. Anyone is a combination of the word any and one. So any is you take your A again and you're going to drag the thumb up, and then you're going to turn your wrist into one. With any one. So have you had close contact with anyone who is COVID positive in the last 14 days? And I'm going to mix up that question now, and I'm going to start with in the last 14 days, and so you just follow along. Let's go on to question number 3. Have you traveled outside of Canada in the last 14 days? So let's add in the new words that we need to know. Travel, outside, and Canada. Travel, we're going to take our pointer and index finger and make our bunny ears. Those are our X. Remember, our X is like this. We're going to make 2 of those and make our bunny ears. And then we're going to take our palm down and make it horizontal to the ground and drive away. So kind of zigzag away to make travel. Again, from the side, take your pointer and index finger and make bunny ears, horizontal to the ground, and then here's where your actual sign starts, and you drive it away. Travel. Have you traveled outside Canada? I've seen a few signs for outside, and the person who helped me come up with the sentence showed me that you take your left hand kind of like a C, and you take your right hand and dip it in. So this is the beginning of the sign, and then you pull it out to represent that you've gone outside. So traveled outside Canada, take your A and twice on the chest in the last 14 days. So we've learned a lot of new terminology here. So let's put them all together in one sentence that's easier to sign, and that means we're going to take the in the last 14 days, have you, and then ask those 3 questions separately. 1, 2, or 3. And that's how you can ask all 3 questions together. Stop this video, rewind it, practice along with me, and get comfortable with those signs. And when you get the opportunity, use it. It makes a massive bridge towards the patient population you are serving, and they are more than gracious and more than helpful in correcting and tweaking those signs to fit the culture and the context in which you are working. Thanks for watching, guys. Make it a great day. Hey, I know you're probably not ready to get off your phone or go back to work just yet, or maybe even turn the lights off to go to sleep. So why don't you spend a little bit more time here watching another video?